Is it time to reimagine your future? The right business skills may make a difference in your career. At Capella University, we offer a relevant education that's designed to focus on what you need to know in the business world. We'll teach professional skills to help you pursue your goals, like business management, strategic planning, and effective communication. And you can apply these skills right away. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be. Be
prayerful about your future so that you can say yes when the opportunities come. Being crippled by fear in your 20s is just such a reality. If we can do our job at being prayerful or thoughtful or meditative on what we're supposed to do in life, whether that is pay for the person's coffee in front of us, whether that's open up a fitness studio, whether that's start a podcast. Like, if we can be prayerful about the moments that are going to lead to those, I believe that fear can be kind of like kicked to the curb. Like, I would have never fathomed or imagined that one yes to getting certified in a fitness modality and teaching fitness classes in college would have led to me now having 3 studios. I would have never in a million years thought that.
Hey, Kenzie.
Hi.
Welcome to 80/20.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
How's your day going?
It's going good. What time is it?
It's like noon.
Great.
But I feel like I've done a million things.
I know. I don't even want to ask what time you woke up, but I have woken up to feel like I've lived a couple lives so far today.
Yeah.
So.
Anything big on your to-do list today, or just a regular work day?
This is fun. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
Well, it's Halloween when we're filming this right
now.
Halloween. So I am going to watch my niece dress up as, I don't even know what they're dressing up. The Flintstones, I think.
Is the whole family dressing up?
Yeah.
That is
gonna
so
be
sweet.
So cute. She just turned 2, or she's about to turn 2, so it'll be perfect.
That's really sweet. Are you dressing up as anything?
No, I'm not. I feel like this is the year. I'm 24.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm like, I feel like once you hit 24, we're done with that.
Yeah, I'm done, and I'm not a big Halloween girl.
I know, I'm not.
Halloween
is not my holiday. So, but no, this morning's been great. We are currently working on opening up another studio. So, been working on a lot.
I can't wait to get into all of that today. Yeah, so I actually went to TRUEFORM this morning. I was telling you about it. And you are the owner of TRUEFORM. Can you tell me a little bit about that whole process, how that started?
Yeah.
Maybe take me back to you as like a young athlete. You were a dancer, correct?
Yeah. So starting back, I'm from Nashville, which is where we're at right now. So I'm from here, not born, but moved here when I was 8 or 9, and essentially started dancing from the time I was born. And so dance has been a huge part of my life and led me to where I'm at now career-wise. But it was my senior year of high school. I had a back injury. Leading me, I went to Ole Miss my freshman year, danced on the dance team there. That injury just kept, bothering me, and I decided to transfer back to a college around here. When I was, however old you are as a sophomore in college.
Yeah, it's like 18, 19.
Yeah, and I had grown up moving and dancing, and so getting to that point sophomore year of college where I now didn't have somebody telling me how to move, when to move, all of those things. I found the workout called Lagree, started working out there. I absolutely loved it. It was super low impact. The workout itself is low impact, high intensity. So it gave me that intensity that I loved and missed from dance and that type of movement, but then also was protecting my body. So injury wise, I was feeling great. And one thing led to another, and I ended up taking over that studio, one of their locations in the suburbs here. So
when you say taking over, like managing, or taking over like
no,
owning?
Like taking over owning, which was wild.
Wait, pause. I want to talk about that really quick.
Yeah.
Well, okay, wait. Let's walk back to your college.
Yes.
You danced in college.
Yes.
And I feel like as a college athlete, there's a huge gap between being a college athlete and then working out on your own. And a lot of friends of mine recently graduated, and they're really, really, really struggling to figure out what to even do with their bodies because they're not being told, hey, go run 5 miles and then we're doing a gym workout, we're doing a lift. How did you I don't know if it was necessarily like have the courage to, but how did you find Lagree first off?
Yeah.
And like be okay with that adjustment?
For sure. What did you grow up doing?
I was a swimmer.
Okay, so dance is so different because we were not in the weight room doing in high school. So like growing up and in high school, my movement, my cardio, my workout was dancing, which is, I mean, extremely intense, but by no means are we lifting weights, and by no means are we running, by no means are we doing any of those things that when you take yourself out of that world is the definition of working out. Yeah. So then you take college dance team, and we are, as a dance team, you are considered a D1 sport. So you have to do what the D1 athletes are required, which is weightlifting and cardio days.
It's a requirement?
It's, yeah. So
not just like we
no,
need to
like
do this
to have the backpack.
Wow.
I had to, dance. Or having the backpack that said like athlete,
D1.
Student athlete.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is, student athlete. You have to go to like morning weights or whatever.
Was that hard to?
Yeah, I had no clue what I was doing. I'm like, are you kidding me? I think back, and honestly, in no shade to anything, but I had no instruction on how to do what I was supposed to be doing. So you take a scrawny little dancer and put them in a weight room, and not only was I already injured or prone to injury because I didn't really have the core or the glute strength to be doing the exercises that we were doing, you place me in a weight room and I'm automatically hurting myself. So I do not think that year of weights was beneficial to me. Now I am obsessed with weightlifting now. That's my primary form of exercise. So it's just funny looking back to think, like, I thought so many bad things about at that time in my life. So yeah, I mean, that kind of gave me a taste of what exercise was outside of dance and outside of movement. So I learned like, oh, okay, there's leg day and there's arm day. I didn't know what any of that was. There's core strength that you're supposed to have, and it's all pieced together, and started to become honestly really obsessed with the concept of fitness and exercise. I was like, this is amazing and you feel so good. I've never been like, I'm actually getting into my running journey, but at the time I had never been a runner, never been any of those things, hated all of that. And so leaving the dance team world, then I was almost like shell shocked again, like what you're saying. I was like, wait, okay, so I grew up dancing, not necessarily exercising in like an hour-long workout modality. And then you put me into what I'm supposed to be doing every single day, on top of that having dance team practice. And now, like you're saying, I'm a sophomore in college. What do I do? And this was 2019. So this was when I feel like group fitness became just absolutely the coolest thing to do ever. F45 had just started. So all of these big fitness chains were popping off. And so I just immediately was attracted to that. And I personally couldn't do anything like weightlifting because of my injury. And so I was just Googling like Pilates studios near me. My PT at the time had said that would be really beneficial. It was a lower back injury. And that's how I found Lagree, because for those of you who don't know, Lagree is a Pilates inspired workout, but it takes bodybuilding principles and Pilates inspired movements and kind of pairs them together. So like what Lily did this morning, it was resistance training, but then you're in flows. So you feel like you're doing Pilates, but you're adding more resistance to it. So you're getting that weightlifting component and what's really important for women, which is strength training. So I became obsessed, obviously, with it. Like, you know, probably this morning, you're working these tiny little muscles.
Oh my gosh, it was so humbling.
You're like, wait, what are these muscles? I didn't even know these existed. And so started working those muscles, and you know, ultimately became obsessed, leading to the passion behind it, which is what led to me taking over the studio.
Love it. Okay, so you're like in college at the time, right?
Yes.
So you're training, then you became an instructor.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So what was that journey like the transformation from just injury training to, oh dang, I think I could teach this?
Yeah, well, I laugh about it now because I feel like every college student can relate to this. Even the student memberships were too expensive for me. And I was like, I'm like, what is going on? I cannot pay this amount of money for a workout. And so I had heard that if you become a fitness instructor, you can get free workouts. And I was like, great, I'll do that. And so obviously I loved it. And yes. And I had grown up dancing, and I had also kind of like on the side throughout my second year of college, sophomore year, I was dance coaching like the little kindergartners at my studio that I had grown up at. So I knew that I loved the coaching element to it. And so I Googled how to get a Lagree certification, and I went to their headquarters out in LA. I got certified, and the owner of the studio here added me to the team. And I am somebody that if I like say I'm going to do it, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram and I have
me too.
no chill.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I want to teach every class on the schedule. I will do whatever you want of me. So I just started teaching like as much as I could. I was studying and doing school, had another part-time retail job, and then I was doing some teaching classes. I was averaging like 2 or 3 a day and was just obsessed with it. Like I was like, I'll get there at 6 a.m. and I'll do the night classes.
You're teaching like 21 classes a week?
I mean, honestly, it feels like a lifetime ago. But if my math is correct, yes. Wow. And I was subbing as much as I could. Okay. I was like, oh, you can't do it? Great, I'll do it. And then I would do it on the weekends. And like a 3 would, I became obsessed and did all the things. Oh my goodness.
That's so fun. Okay, so you're an instructor.
Yeah.
And you're in college. Mm-hmm. And then you're about to graduate.
Yeah.
Were you like job hunting? Yeah. Like, how did that
go? Awkward, like this is the weirdest point of life, is that like final sprint of your senior year of college, in my opinion, because you're like, wait, am I supposed to have the job?
Or and like no one has a job.
Yeah, no one has a job, and then like, you're just like, with the what's going on?
Yeah. Or like, I actually was just hired and I'm gonna make $90,000.
Literally, you're like, wait, what? I know, and then
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I had decided my junior year that I wanted to become a marriage and family therapist, and so
oh wow, okay.
I decided to graduate a semester early. So this is in December of 2021. I had known that I was going to be applying to grad school. And so I had this like awkward January to August before my grad school program was going to start. I had applied at a school down the road from my university. And so I was like, heck, I'll nanny and just keep teaching fitness classes. And honestly, I think I had gone so hard dancing all my life. And then, you put me in freshman year and I was just like everything's hardcore about a D1 sport. And then you put me in college and then I was like the social butterfly. I wanted to do everything. So I think by the time my final semester had come, I was just ready for a break. And so I had a lot of peace with doing, just something chill and not necessarily the most attractive thing ever. It wasn't like the sexiest idea to be a nanny, but I was like, heck, I'll do it. Yeah. And so found the most incredible family and was nannying starting in January. And the goal and the plan was to go to school in August to become a therapist, and then the Lord quickly shifted.
Funny how everything.
It was a hard left turn.
Okay, so what did that shift look like, and how did you know? I mean, I guess it's so hard for me because I feel like I'm being pulled in a million different directions. Yeah. So I would love to hear from you. How did you know that it was from God, and like finding that faith to? I mean, trust is hard in general, and knowing that He's got you is like easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
So what did that look like for you?
Yeah, well, I think. And this is going into like our personality. As a 3, your deepest fear is that like you're not doing enough. Mm-hmm. And I think I battled that a lot. My first couple months of just being a nanny was like, everybody's asking you, oh my gosh, post-grad, like what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm a nanny. Yeah. And I think that was a super pivotal time in my life, January to March. That was, when I was really deciding, like I was turning away from some things that were normal to me and stepping into things that I had known that I was called a little bit higher to. And so I was meeting with my mentor at the time. She was really just a best friend at the time that was calling me out of different things and encouraging me to step into things that were more so meant for, what the Lord was telling me to do. And so I was learning so many things at this point in time that now I'm so thankful for, because those were extremely pivotal months, especially even now looking at how they benefited and impacted my career and even the way that I'm a leader now. So that shift, I mean, it was uncomfortable. It's always weird to be in a spot that you think you're going to be somewhere else and looking ahead like, well, what is next? Thankfully, I had school. I was like, I knew I was preparing for something. And then, like I mentioned, in March of that year, the opportunity came to me to take over. There were 2 studios from these owners. One was in Nashville, one was in the suburbs, and they were looking to sell their suburbs studio in Franklin. And so that opportunity came to me in March. And honestly, yes, we were talking about this before the show, is like saying yes to one thing can lead to so many other things. And so one yes, I mean, it changed everything. So.
Okay, so how did you find the confidence to say yes? Because I think that's the hardest part. It's a very easy word to be like, yes, absolutely. But to have the confidence behind that, was it a hesitant yes? Was it like a heck yes?
Honestly, I feel like I talk to people about, like my friends about this all the time. I'm like, I feel like sometimes you're in a season of waiting and you're praying. You're like, okay, Lord, like what are my next steps? Like where is this meant to go? And then the time comes to make a decision and you're like, well, let me pray about it. Let me think about it. And then you do that. And then you're basically, in my opinion, just halting something from saying, heck yeah. So I feel like because of those pivotal months, those 3 months, whatever, 90 days, I was praying, Lord, what are my next steps? Like, where do you want me to go from here? And then this opportunity came. And instead of me being like, oh, well, let me sit on it, I had been sitting on it for 3 months. And even though I thought that that was going to look like going to grad school or, you know, taking a new job, taking something that was a little bit more attractive or up to my standards of what work was supposed to look like post-grad, I was like, no, this is exactly what I feel like I've been waiting for. And everything's making sense. And my peace was there. And every little yes, I feel like leading up to this big one had led me to that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's so good. I think something that I struggle with, at least, and especially in recent months, because I feel pulled in a lot of different directions. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I've been praying for certain things, been just, it's on my heart to do X, Y, and Z. But similarly to you, I'm like, the moments coming are the moments here. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I think for anyone who's listening to this, what is like one piece of super tangible advice, or maybe even a Bible verse or a podcast or like something that you could give someone tangibly that would help them work through that hesitation? Because the moment might be there for them.
This episode is brought to you by Etsy.
Oh.
Hear that?
Okay. Thank you.
Etsy knows these aren't the sounds of holiday gifting. Well, not the ones you're hoping for. You want squeals of delight. Happy tears.
How did you?
And spontaneously written songs of joy.
I am so happy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, the song needs a bit of work, but anyway, to get those reactions, make sure everyone on your list feels heard with handmade, handpicked, and designed gifts from small shops on Etsy. Gifts like personalized jewelry, custom artwork, cozy style items, vintage pieces, and home decor to celebrate all of your favorite people and their specific kind of special. For original gifts that say, I get you, Etsy has it.
Imagine a world-class graduate education that's accessible, flexible, and designed for career impact. That's Harvard Extension School. Build actionable knowledge and skills in challenging online classes taught by Harvard faculty and industry experts. Explore new opportunities and expand your network with high-achieving professionals from around the world. Part-time learning. Real-world impact. This is Harvard on your terms. Learn more at extension.harvard.edu/Spotify.
Okay, this just came to mind, and I don't know if this will hit, but I believe that we were all created so beautifully and so wonderfully, and that's kind of where our studio has headed in the direction of wanting to share with people, especially as they work out. I believe that if you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that the Lord has very good gifts for us. And I don't want to get to Christmas morning and not want to open up the gifts that people that love me have given me because, oh, I don't know, I just don't want to open that gift. Like, we don't do that on Christmas morning. And so I think it's the same thing when it comes to life. It's like the Lord has good gifts for us. Why would we not open them? Because, oh, I don't know, I just don't want to open that gift. And I know that fear can step in the way, and all of those different emotions that we naturally have as humans can definitely get there. But what I try to do in those moments, because there's been a lot of yeses that have come from this one yes, in those moments, I'm like, Lord, I'm seeing this as a gift. I'm seeing this as a beautifully wrapped gift with a bow. I'm going to unwrap that bow. I'm going to take off the gift paper. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to be so thankful for what's in this. It might not look like what I think, and it might not turn out like what you have like what I have planned, but it's going to be what you have planned. And so yeah, I would say it's a gift like worth opening and trying. Yeah, I love it. I think that's one of the hardest parts too, is not knowing what, or, you know, wanting your plan to work out the way exactly how you pictured it. And I feel like you probably resonate with this too, because you're a 3 and you're definitely an achiever, a dreamer. And I have big plans for my life, but I think that they're such good plans. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, I mean, I don't wonder, I know that God has even better and more beautiful plans. So I'm like, why wouldn't I trust him? Right. But it's just hard in the moment because you're being pulled. And that's just something that the enemy comes in and he's like, actually, 100%. Even on the plane here, like I, you know, knew that I would have a cool meeting, get to meet with cool people. And I just get these little intrusive thoughts of like, you know, you're not really that good of a conversationalist. Like, what makes you think that you could have a conversation with someone? And I'm like,
That's silly.
It's lies.
I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, yeah, it's, if we're going to go down that rabbit hole, it's like the enemy doesn't want us to open up the good gifts. Yeah. And so he's going to do absolutely anything we can to produce insecurity when it comes to opening those gifts. And so I think just to encourage, anybody listening, I believe if you open it up, you're going to see a lot more than if you just keep it shut. Yeah. Whatever door that looks like, whatever aspect of your life that looks like, I feel like the one thing I like to speak into, because I am not the best business person out there. I definitely have a lot of room to grow when it comes to being a leader. And, there's always a million things that I want to do better. The one thing that I would say in full confidence that I feel like I have something to step into and speak into when it comes to women coming to me and being like, I want to open up my own business. I literally had a client, I was walking out the door with her yesterday, and she was like, tell me like the one thing that like you were afraid of when opening a business. And I was like, I wasn't afraid. Mm-hmm. And that was what I was afraid of. It's like, I had no fear. Okay. And so I think I'm so thankful that I didn't have fear, because I think that produces a lot of fruit. But in the same way, there's always things that I can probably think through more. I would say when those women come to me and want to do something, I'm like, you can't mess it up. Like you can't, I don't believe that we can mess up what the Lord intends for good, right? And so if I can just do what I feel peace on and I pursue that peace, I mean, something's going to come from it, good or bad. Like, and I feel like the bad always leads to better. So yeah. That's that.
Love it. Okay, cool. So I want to talk about TRUEFORM.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about format.
Yes.
And I want to talk about all the cool things that you're doing. So
oh my gosh.
We talked a little bit before about Pilates versus Lagree.
Yeah.
Was Lagree a guy? Like,
yeah. His name is Sebastian Lagree.
Okay.
What you'll find out about almost every form of fitness is it's a last name.
Yeah. Or
one day.
Yeah.
They'll ignore that.
Yeah. But okay, so Lagree, mix between Pilates and strength training.
Yeah, bodybuilding components. Yeah.
So my first experience with Lagree was solid core.
Yes.
And I went into it with a friend who was like, you have to try this workout. I'm like, okay, great. And
which is super big up north.
Yes.
It's like a big thing up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there was one in Annapolis, which is where I'm from. And she's like, you have to try this. I'm like, okay, great. So go in, super loud music. They're like, the lights come down, the song goes up, whatever. Yeah. Super fun. But I hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is probably the worst workout.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm a baby when it comes to stuff like that. But I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And then it took me a couple of tries of being like, okay, like I'm in it. Do you find that a lot of clients come in and they're really discouraged?
Well, my mom will not do this workout and tells me she blacks out every time she even tries. So, Mom, if you're listening to this, I hear you and I'm ready for you to come back. But no, I mean, 100%. I think it's the same thing with any form of fitness. You're going to find people that love it and you're going to find people that love other things in the same way that me in a yoga class for 60 minutes is just misery. Like it's so hard for me. It's a hard workout and I struggle with it. I'm like, I know this is so good for me, but it's so tough right now. And running, like I'm finally getting into, I feel like that, like actually enjoying it. But I feel like if we were to, it's in the same way we like rate our favorite foods or our best friends. It's like we rate the types of workouts that we like doing. And for me, I love strength training and I love any type of component of it. Not a big cycler, you know what I mean? I feel like we just all have our favorite things. So what I always try to encourage clients into when they step into TRUEFORM is like, have fun. This is not rocket science. It's not the worst thing you're going to do in your life, even though it feels like it in the moment.
It's a tough 15 minutes.
It is
that's for
super
sure.
tough. You're like, clock, how much longer?
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell everybody to have fun doing it. I feel like that's the best part of movement is it's the hour of our day without a phone, with people around us that are doing the same thing as us. So we're like-minded in some sort of way. You know, it's a way to shut off your mind from the to-do list of what that day is to carry. So yeah, I just try to tell people to have fun, and then if they actually hate it, I'm like, hey, just don't come back.
Yeah,
let's find something else you love.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're trying to do with the format. As Lily kind of said, just trying to find some other ways to implement fitness that isn't necessarily Lagree. But yeah, Lagree itself it's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I did love though how all the girls in the class, like, I mean, and I don't know if I told you this, but I teach yoga.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, I teach yoga.
Wait, maybe Lily can help me like it because I can't.
I will say there is like an element to it though. Like sometimes I'm even in a class, I'm like, I'm so bored.
I like sculpt. Like I love a yoga sculpt class,
like, with
but
like
those
a little,
like
arm section or like
like
a hot vinyasa flow where I'm sweaty. It's hot. It's tough. Yeah. I do love that. And And then I also have this other side of me that like loves to just chill, which is weird sometimes because I feel like I'm go, go, go. But right. So I'm starting to teach like a slow flow.
Okay,
on
so
like Tuesday
I need
nights.
to try.
So yeah, maybe I'll send you.
I love a heated room.
Heated room, some candles. I feel like you become more malleable.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was totally going somewhere with this. I don't know. So I was in class today. Anyway, so I teach
the girls,
and so I was like, okay, I'm familiar with modifications.
Yeah.
I think Kayla was the instructor.
Yeah.
She threw out some mods, which was great. But and I don't care. Like, I don't think that anybody's looking at me. The workout itself is way too hard for anyone to be staring at anybody else.
100%.
But what would you say? What would you say to someone who is either discouraged or just feeling maybe insecure whenever maybe it's even like a Planet Fitness, like whatever they're walking into. I feel like even breaking that barrier of getting into the gym, I think is really tough sometimes. So what would you tell someone who's maybe a new client or just needs some advice getting started? Yeah.
Well, mirrors are the worst. And I could say that till I'm blue in the face. If it were up to me, we wouldn't have mirrors in our studio, but they are really beneficial when it comes to form and alignment. I think that's the toughest thing is the whole purpose of our studio is to provide some security in the most vulnerable hour of your day. Yeah. I would say that walking in with tight clothes or clothing that, is a little bit more form-fitting, or maybe you're coming in a baggy t-shirt, but you're at least staring at yourself in a mirror for 50 minutes, that is producing so much room for lies to just immediately filtrate your brain. And so one thing when it came to even naming our studio, we called it TRUEFORM because we believe everybody is truly made and truly formed together, that we want them to return back to their truest form on the machine, rather than staring at themselves and wanting to be somebody else. Yeah. And so that's the one thing I try to encourage every client or every person that walks in is like, look, this is not about what you look like. I do not want to step into a room anytime I work out and be like, I hope this makes me look different, because that just produces so much pressure on yourself to start looking different after one workout. It's not going to happen. And so how can we step into a room and just be like, okay, here I am. I am Kenzie Wesp. I am working out today and I'm bettering myself by 1%. That's why I love the name of your podcast. It's like, how many times can we just walk in and like give our best? It's an 80-20 lifestyle. Yeah. Let's try to encourage ourselves to step into movement. It's going to make us better mentally. It's going to make us better physically. But it's not about what we see. And so it's super, super nerve wracking to walk into anything where you're staring at yourself and then you're staring at yourself, staring at other people, staring at you. It's weird. Yeah. And so I'm trying to break down those barriers in the fitness industry so that it is more, it's that I would rather the stigma around fitness, at least at the studios that we're a part of, be more about how you feel leaving than how you feel looking at yourself. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Just about breaking down those barriers so that ultimately you do want to keep doing it rather than leaving feeling discouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so important. And so as an owner, what's something that you really try to prioritize? Maybe it's like a tangible like thing that you tell your instructors or something that you like always speak at your classes, like to really hone in that message.
Yeah. Well, I mean, movement is such a gift. I feel that a lot of the experiences of people around me have just proven that time and time again, whether it was an accident that hindered them from movement, an accident that cost them almost their life, like whatever it is, there's been so many stories that have stepped into our building that have just made me realize how it is a gift to move our bodies. It is a gift to feed our bodies. It is a gift to do all of these beautiful things that we are able to do that a lot of people struggle with. People struggle with over-exercising. People struggle with over or under eating, whatever it has to do, especially in the wellness industry. People struggle with having so much information at their disposal that they don't even know where to start, or they're doing way too many things. Then it's just an overload. It's information overload. And so personally for me, I mean, I try to stick to the essentials. Me and my best friend, we have a wellness brand called Essentials University because our passion is to just start telling people like, hey, it's not about the 5 bajillion things that we have to do. It's about the 5 essential things. So I try to have a clear and consistent morning and nighttime routine. I move my body every day, whether that's strength training, Lagree, a walk, a run, something that like feels good and is what my body's wanting that day. Feed myself with whole nutritious foods that are from the earth. Like that is so cool that we get to do that. I think sometimes we underestimate like the power of what was already created for us and like, oh my gosh, it is so cool that not this plant but like a plant was in the ground and is producing things that are going to help me stay alive. stay hydrated and just stay in good community. So yeah, I mean, I try to stick to the essentials. I am somebody, again, as a 3, I'm like, you tell me to eat beef liver, I'm going to eat it every single day. I'll eat it 5 times a day if you want me to. Like, I will do whatever you tell me to do, even if it is like psychotic wellness people, because I just want to feel good and I want to be good and I want to do good. But I always remind myself, like, okay, let's come back to the essentials, which is also what we're trying to do at the studios at TRUEFORM and the format. It's like, let's just give you the basics. All you need to do is move. Doesn't matter how good it is. Doesn't matter if you have the best like alignment or you're in the heaviest weight. Let's move our bodies. So.
Absolutely. I love what you're doing with Essentials University.
It's
Can you
so
talk
fun.
a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
Talk about like the 5 core things. Maybe elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Essentials came out of a place of, so I'm the owner of TRUEFORM, and one of my best friends is a personal trainer and health coach. And we started seeing just such a need for community in our studio or in TRUEFORM. We saw so many girls moving here that loved movement, but like, you know, you're not making necessarily your best friend while working out. Like, a lot of people are in and out. And so we started creating these community nights where clients and anybody, outside members, could just come in and experience just a night of, like, honestly, just girl community. People that like to work out, people that like to eat healthy, or maybe they don't like to eat healthy, but they like to work out, whatever it was. Finding girls that just are seeking wellness-inspired community. We saw it just start popping off, and so we were like, why not put a brand to this? And so we created, we were on the phone one day, and we were honestly talking about maybe like, oh, let's do a podcast.
I was about to say, I feel like the next thing is probably a pod.
Yeah. Well, for us, it's like we listen to these health podcasts, and oh my gosh, 2 hours later, I have 50,000 more things I have to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so our dream is to kind of create like just sound bites of like, hey, this is a 5-minute podcast of 5 minutes worth of this is how you hydrate yourself, like simplicity. Yeah. So we were on the phone just kind of ranting to each other, because at this point, like, I had a friend come and be like, I'm doing this diet, and now I'm going to try this fitness, and now I'm going to do this running plan. And it's like, okay, those are all amazing things, but like, what if we're just consistent with one thing for more than 2 months? We'll probably see more results. Mentally, physically, whatever it is. So we were ranting on this phone call, and I was like, Tay, we just need to start it. And so we're like, what do we call it? And we were like, well, we just need the essentials. And so we were like, why not call it Essentials University? Because it's more of a teaching component. And we do community walks every month. We do wellness events. And we've been getting into like panels, wellness panels, bringing in people that are inspired by the same things that we are. And we share the essential aspects of wellness, which we believe is movement. We believe is community. We believe is nutrition. We believe is sleep. We believe is... what was the other thing? I mean, just any of the basics. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, no, I was talking to them.
Oh.
Yeah, we're supposed to be telling them about our podcast.
Okay, can you start again?
Yeah. Hello, we are Micah and
Sarah,
hosts of the Fortitude Podcast. You may know us from TikTok or Instagram, where we love to have fun and bring joy to people.
But we've also been through some life experiences that have tested and strengthened us as individuals and as husband and wife.
Yeah, like grief, addiction, gay husband, miscarriage.
And that's just to name a few. But we believe we are called to share about the ways our faith has pulled us through difficulty and the lessons we've learned along the way.
We're going to be answering your questions and having guests on to talk about relationships, faith, mentality, ultimately all the things in life that make up the human experience.
Because when you're in a tough season, it is so important to know that you're not alone and you are capable of making it to the other side.
You can follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or anywhere you can listen to a podcast.
We love you all and hope each week you will come away encouraged, hopeful, and equipped with something that helps you grow.
Are you single and navigating the complex world of dating as a Christian? Well, I want you to know you're not alone. I'm Kate.
And I'm JJ.
And together we host the Heart of Dating podcast.
We're here to unmask the ambiguity of dating and help you build a healthy approach to find your person.
Each episode, we tackle tough questions and provide real, relatable advice you won't find anywhere else. And guess what? We hold nothing back.
Yeah, that's right. From heartbreak to hope to real life stories from our listeners, we literally cover it all, bringing you wisdom and insights and sometimes laughter that everyone needs to thrive in any relationship.
Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, you'll find community and support within the Heart of Dating podcast.
So we're inviting you to join the conversation that's changing the ways that Christians date.
Literally, if you want to make dating better, come join us. Let's do this together.
You can subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or
find us on Instagram or on YouTube, Heart of Dating, and you can visit our website to learn more at heartofdating.com.
And I really love that because, I mean, if you Google how to be healthy, you're going to get information overload. And I was trapped in that cycle for a year. Gosh. And
I'm still, like, I mean, full transparency, I still get trapped in it. Like, I will look up on Instagram and I'm like, all right, I guess I have to, like, buy this melatonin magnesium pillow that, like, seeps out of your pillowcase. I'm like, what is going on?
Is that a real thing?
Probably. Like, I feel like I see something every day that I'm like, huh? Like, I just got into mouth tape.
Oh, how's that going?
I mean, I love it.
Okay.
Now, does it work or is it placebo? I don't know.
I was going to say, what's like because I mean, I know it's for breathing. Yeah. But I just, are you
I
like,
am a mouth breather.
Or here?
I mean, I started with the here. This one makes me break out like around my mouth, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like that's why Essentials was birthed, was because like I have to return myself back to the essentials. I have to remind myself, hey, a 6 a.m. workout is not more important than my sleep. Like, how can we take it back to these basic principles of just how to live? Like, let's eat healthy, let's move, let's sleep, let's be around good people, and let's just call it a day rather than constantly having to like infiltrate us with more and more and more.
Yeah, I always have to remind myself whenever I log on to Instagram, like literally every time I'm like, I'm opening this app and I'm not going to change my whole life just based off of one thing that I see.
Right.
Like same thing like you just said, like I used to be a 5:30 a.m. workout girl because I thought that I had to have this perfect morning routine and hit all these things. And I'm like, oh wait, actually a 7 a.m. wake up time, such a
much
sweet
better,
spot.
yeah.
And that's why I could hit the 6:30 class because I'm in a different time zone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah.
So I was like, this will actually work out because I'll feel like 7. So I woke up at 5:45 naturally thinking that it was 6:45. So it worked out.
Oh, that's the best part of traveling.
It's the best feeling.
To somewhere that's an hour ahead.
California rocks.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, this is the most productive I've ever been at 5 a.m.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And so I think I really, really love what you guys are doing with Essentials because bringing people back to the basics. And that's what I try to do with the podcast and just teaching people that you don't have to change your whole life in order to be healthy. It's truly one small step, like just a drop in the bucket every single day. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do a complete 180 just to change your life. Like it doesn't happen in a day. So I love that. Yeah. That's what you're doing.
It's been so fun. So yeah, it's like, and then you live in the overflow of that. I'm very thankful that I get to do what I get to do because it's that constant reminder of, oh my gosh, yeah, Kenzie, like reel it back. Let's live in the overflow of what I'm even trying to tell people, which is, I feel like business leadership, like 101, the best piece of advice I got was like, you have to make sure that you are reminding yourself of exactly what you're telling other people. Because it is so easy for me to get in front of a class with a little microphone on me and be like, it is such a gift to move our bodies and it is such a gift to fuel our bodies and it is all these things. And then I'm like, okay, I got to tell myself the same thing. So it's like, actually, I mean, it keeps me accountable, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So you are starting a new venture called Format. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because this looks really cool. I stalked the Instagram. So it looks really, really cool.
Yeah. So pre this podcast, that's what's been ruminating in my mind is just the format. So I am so thankful for my husband because he deals with me all the time. I was lying in bed one night and should have been sleeping. Sleep is so important. And I pop out of bed and I'm like, Tanner, I have an idea. He's like, what now? And essentially I had there were so many baby steps leading up to this like dream I had, but I love TRUEFORM. I love Lagree and I love the method. I was craving to hit another type of person that, like my mom, might not like Lagree. They might not like the Megaformer. And so how can we basically create a studio that is giving you the same type of fitness modalities? It's Pilates inspired, it's strength training, but it's heated. I love a heated room. Like I was saying, like I love Sculpt. I just think it's incredible. And so I had an experience at a workout studio a couple weeks before that was something similar and popped out of bed. And I mean, it was so clear. Like I knew what it was called. I knew the 4 types of workouts. I knew like the color scheme, like everything you would, if you search the format.fitness on Instagram, like what you're seeing is what was in my head that night that I woke up. So was it
a dream or was it like you were laying there and it was
it was like one of those things where it was like churning. Oh my gosh, this is happening. So I wasn't like, I mean, it was like daydreaming almost. Yeah. I was like falling asleep and then woke up to this concept and was driving down. So I woke him up. He was like, okay, babe, great, love it. You just opened, because at this point I had opened up my second studio 6 weeks ahead of that. Oh, so
wow.
he was like, all right, so we just got
Are you always pitching ideas to him?
Oh, always.
Like every day?
And he's always, thankfully, we're both dreamers. Oh
okay,
my gosh,
good.
yeah. He's probably pitching more things to me than I am to him.
Love it.
So I was like, wait, look at my idea. You just gave me 12. I'm giving you one. And so I was driving down the road that day and was like, oh my gosh, it's the format and it's a heated Pilates studio. And so right now we have TRUEFORM Fitness, Lagree, and now early 2025, we're opening up the format. It'll be heated Pilates inspired strength-based workouts. So we'll do strength workouts, sculpt workouts. Sweat is going to be just our mat Pilates class, and then we'll have stretch. And we're excited because we're launching our founding memberships tomorrow, but then we're also launching like an exclusive memberships to our TRUEFORM clients. So we're kind of making this like a sister brand to TRUEFORM. So completely different businesses and ventures and teams, but it's kind of like the baby sister of TRUEFORM. So we're really excited about it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as the workouts go, because I would assume that you've been like, you got your instructors. I would
we are
imagine,
working.
to a
Yeah,
degree.
we have like an informational meeting this month for girls. Yeah,
that's so exciting. So as far as the workouts go, what is A, your favorite, and maybe B, let's go with what's like the most. I don't know, I guess rank them on a scale from from like, I guess 1 through 4 being your favorite.
So sculpt is going to be my absolute favorite. Okay. It's a mixture of Pilates and strength training. And so sculpt is really big right now, whether it's yoga sculpt or Pilates sculpt or heated Pilates. It's when you're integrating dumbbells or some sort of strength, resistance, ball bangles, whatever it is, to like Pilates inspired, which Pilates, I learned this in my training, Pilates can be technically like, Supreme Court has ruled that Pilates cannot be trademarked because Pilates is anything that involves the core. So that's kind of why you see it's really interesting. I learned this. I'm currently going through like my comprehensive mat training, and in 2000, I don't know, maybe 2005, I'm butchering it, maybe 2000.
Sounds good.
There's something. Look it up. The new owner of the Pilates method, the original Pilates method, wanted to trademark Pilates and take money from any Pilates studio. So it went to court because basically, and then the court ruled that like it can't be trademarked because Pilates can be anything involving the core. I say all that to say that Pilates is literally so versed right now. Like you could go to a studio and like do a crunch and they could say it's Pilates. So it's a very wide range of what that word and what that workout is. Ours is going to be pretty traditional mat Pilates with sculpt and strength components. So sculpt is going to be my favorite. Strength will be my next favorite because I'm just obsessed with weightlifting.
Is it true like you're going to have
45-minute circuit training? So yeah, it'll be 3 circuits or however many.
Like kind of like thinking like F45 or like Orange Theory style?
More of like a more structured weight. So like supersets, and I mean really if you were to go to a personal trainer and have like a strength workout. Yeah.
Sweet.
So that'll be everything's 45 minutes with a warm up and a cool down. So sculpt will be my favorite, strength, and then sweat will be my third favorite. Sweat is like just our standard mat Pilates. It'll be more heated in the room, so we'll get up to like the upper 80s. It's not like the craziest hot yoga type.
But still, I think anything heated, you get a different sweat, so you get that detox, and then you're more malleable.
Oh,
so
yes.
you can
your body.
I feel like you can do more.
Yeah. So I'll love that basic Pilates, and then not that stretch won't be my favorite, but it'll be honestly amazing. But we're only going to offer it on Sundays. Okay. So Sunday's like your recovery day, and so you'll stretch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is it dedicated like? Is it kind of more yoga stretchy or like?
That's what we're trying to figure out because we have so many like certified yoga instructors that want to teach this specific class of ours. We need to kind of workshop it because I do think it could be like really cool to do some flows. But we want to utilize that for like anybody, like buy a drop-in stretch class. There's not a ton of like just stretch studios. So how nice that you can go into a heated room and get a stretch class on a Sunday afternoon. So yeah, we need to workshop that. But I do think it'd be fun to have like a flow to it.
You know, trigger point therapy, like the foam rollers and stuff, TV therapy. They have a whole, so I work for a gym
amazing
I'll give you a little backstory. Work for a gym on the Eastern Shore. Not like that means anything geographically. Cool. And they do so many amazing workouts. It's a lot of strength training. They do like special training for guys that are about to head out to like special forces. They do like young athlete stuff, awesome stuff. And during the summer, I taught yoga for their young athletes camp. Yeah. And before the yoga session, they did TP therapy. Wow. Like an hour of dedicated TP therapy. So they started with a foam roller and a lacrosse ball. They started like on like the ball of their foot, and they just worked all the way up one leg, switched legs all the way up the other leg, and then like, hips, torso, everything. Like just working all the way up the body. And so I wonder if I can find
Please,
whatever,
that would be
whatever
insane.
program. Because then it's like because I mean, how often are you like, I'm going to throw a foam roller on the ground and roll out while I watch a TV show?
Even in my Pilates certification, like we did some foam roller stretches for your hip flexors, and I was like, this is game changing. I was obsessed.
So let me see if I can text and get some info there, because I'm sure that there's some sort of
that'd be amazing. Like
program
of sorts.
Yeah, there's got to be something. So let me see what I can find, because that has been a game changer. Like going through that stretch routine, it's better than just like, oh, I'm gonna roll out for 5 minutes. Like, so let me send that to you. That could be interesting.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you do a million things, and you have a million ideas.
Yes.
How do you kind of take me through your daily routine?
Yeah.
What does it look like? How do you kind of stay centered and grounded?
Yeah.
And maybe how do you implement the 80-20 lifestyle?
So I think I'm honestly in a huge growing period, because in order to get the format to where it's at today, took a lot of sacrifice on behalf of my morning routine. I was so used to like waking up at 6:30, having 30 minutes of quiet time with the Lord, or just like honestly like a walk. Like, I went through a period of time before we opened Nashville where I went on a 30-minute walk every morning and just was like, no phone, regulating my body. And then, breakfast to a workout to like coffee and admin. And that was like my dream morning. Then insert second studio, 6 weeks later, insert the format starting to be created, and everything just got pushed forward. So I'm kind of in a season of coming out of it, but the past couple months have looked like 5:30 wake up, heading straight to the gym, working out at 6, having coffee. Like, this is not what I would recommend. Drinking my coffee, getting to my emails, not necessarily having that quiet time, and then immediately into the rush of teaching and meetings and opening up the studio. And I was actually last night at dinner with some of our best friends who are amazing at keeping me accountable. And it was like, okay, I need to reel this back in. Yeah. So I'm like recently over the past couple of days been trying to re-infiltrate, like, okay, I'm going to wake up, say I need to wake up at 5:30, which is just what's happening right now. I'm going to wake up. The first thing I'm going to do is open up my Bible or open up my journal or open up something to get my mind stirring, not on my phone, because the reality of being a business owner in the most humble way is like your phone blowing up at all times of the day. Like, I don't even want to look at my phone after this hour of what could have occurred at this lunch hour.
People need toilet paper.
I'm like, oh my gosh, so that had to happen. Yeah, while Kenzie's talking in a microphone, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And so anyways, the chaos is just immediate in the mornings. And so how can I turn my focus to what's most important? And I do think like my morning routine starts at night, 100%. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I heard that and it changed everything. Like, the way I go to bed is the way I'm waking up. And so if I'm on my phone till 9:45, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be on my phone at 5 in the morning. And so I try to set that up. I am not good at it, but try to set that up, even if it's just like reading something with Tanner, like processing our day together. So now I'm trying to wake up 5:30, look at something that's not my phone first thing. We love to work out together. So Tanner and I will work out together. I try to strength train a couple days a week, do Lagree a couple days of the week. If I have time for a walk after the workout, that's the dream. Do some emails and admin, and then I'm usually teaching at a studio, one of them in the mornings, and then the craziness kind of goes from there. But that's the goal for morning routine over the next couple months.
That sounds super hectic, but super fun, because it sounds like you're in a very cool season, like something that you've just been.
And it's the only time, like every season is so temporary.
Yeah.
This is
very true.
Yeah.
So you're recently married.
Yes.
You said your anniversary is this week.
My anniversary is literally next Tuesday. Our anniversary is on Election Day, which is
okay.
We're celebrating it this weekend.
Good for you.
We don't want to deal with the stress.
No. Might be weird energy.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Anyway, so how are you juggling like all these really, really amazing business ventures on top of being a newlywed?
Yeah. This is my favorite thing to talk about, because marry your best friend, because we have truly, like, everything we do is together in a very healthy way. He is the best form of a quote unquote business partner. He allows everything I do to be mine and like my ideas, but he's so good at reeling me back in and being like, hey Kens, like, when we got married, these were our vows to each other, and like, this is what we promised, like the life we want to live. I don't think that's a yes we want to say. So really, off the bat, we were on our honeymoon when the studio space became available for what's now our second studio. So I got into TRUEFORM. I took over it in 2020, or I took over the other studio in 2022, rebranded it to TRUEFORM in late 2022. And then my husband and I met 6 months later. And so I was doing this for almost a year before we met. And so he, like, dating and engaged was like encouraging me, but he wasn't a part of it. When we got married, we really did view it as ours. And so on our honeymoon, the space for now our second TRUEFORM was emailed to us like, hey, there's spots available, blah, blah, blah. This is the address. We went and looked at it the week we got back from our honeymoon and signed the lease that December, so a month after marriage.
Wow.
Or a month after we got married. And then we opened in April. And so, I mean, from the ground off, we were, or from the we said, yes, I do. And we're opening up a studio, and he is in construction. And so he kind of took on the whole project. He was amazing. Like, everything that you see in that studio, him or his subs were doing, and he crushed it. Like, he is so talented. So oh my gosh. Thank you, Jesus. He did. Yeah. The Lord really knew what he was doing. So Tanner did an incredible job at and, we have an amazing design team that we're also using for the format, and we're just so thankful for them. But yeah, he was super helpful in that. And then obviously my little dream of a moment happened right after we opened that in April. And so all the past couple months have been us opening up the second one. And I think it's just balancing work and play. We have so much fun working together. We would you get us at dinner and we have to tell ourselves we're not allowed to talk about the business right now, because we will, and we love it so much. But it's just creating that intentional time to also not talk about it, but then also have grace with ourselves of hey, if 3 dinners in a row are us talking about the studios, great.
Yeah.
Let's just not do it on the 4th.
Yeah.
So yeah, having grace with each other has been the best,
that's so
exciting thing that we've had to do.
Oh, that's so fun. I love hearing. I'm very single.
Okay. Well, I was, and then we met and got engaged and married in 8 months.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So you never know.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
I think my little sister is about to get engaged.
Okay.
And so my older sister's married. Been married for 3 years. My younger sister's about to get engaged, and watching them just be so in love is the cutest thing.
It's so
I'm
fun.
So excited for them.
I'm excited for you. It's the best.
Thanks. So I don't know. One day. Hopefully sooner rather than
if you're
later,
listening and you're single.
My demographics are 92% female.
Okay, so if you're in that 8%,
let me know.
Slide in.
Let a girl know.
Why
not? Okay, so what would you say is the most valuable part of marriage and business, or business and marriage? I don't know if they're probably not. I mean, because this is something that I'm so foreign from.
Right.
But I know that one day I would love for my potential husband to be so heavily involved in the podcast, because it basically is my life.
Oh, yeah. So well, in the same way that I want Tanner to step into this and absolutely love what I do, I want to be that for him. Yeah. So, it goes both ways. But I would say the biggest piece of advice, or I guess, how it works, marriage and business, we have just seen the fruit of when we are on the same page and we say yes to something that we feel mutually the Lord is leading me into, that ultimately is leading him into it too, right? He is the leader of our home, and so he is helping in all of those capacities. It has led us to more good than we could have ever done individually. There's a verse in scripture that is, and I can't pinpoint it, but basically when you step in together to something, where 2 or more are gathered, he is in the midst. And so just seeing the way that just blessings have come from the second we said I do. I had been trying to find a second studio space for literally the entirety over a year. I had ordered my machines before I ever had a space, because I was I know I'm supposed to do this, but why is it not happening? And the second Tanner stepped into this with me, it's doors have just flung open, because I think also and I love being a woman in business, and I love, the idea of being a boss, but I also really need his leadership, and I really need him. Yes, I can do things on my own, and, I have the Lord with me and all those things, but it's really great to have a man, also step into things with you and give you that confidence that you need. Not that I don't have it myself, but I do value that, and I do believe in that. And so having Tanner encouraged me to say yes to the things I was already probably going to say, even if he didn't get didn't say yes as well has just allowed me to step into things with so much more confidence. So even with you, like when you do meet your husband and he's able to like step into business decisions with you, you're going to have so much confidence stepping forward. Like I'm able to say, yes, I'm opening up the format because my husband believes in it too. And it's like you have these two people that are now ready for it. And when the storms come, you have two people to handle them and kind of take it in head on. So yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It's so
that
fun.
makes me so happy for you and like selfishly excited for
my gosh, yeah, I'm pumped for you.
Future self and like whatever God has in store for me, the pod, everything. So
yes, 100%.
I know that I so resonate with that too because I feel like something's missing, and I know that it's like the male leadership,
100%,
and like feeling that. I mean, not like I'm not secure, not that I don't trust God and what He has for me, because obviously like all this is so because of God, and I feel so just like trusting and encouraged by that. But I also think there's just something to be said about.
And people have challenged, like, you know, to those who would challenge, like, you don't need a man in your life. Like, I would argue that's the same reason why, like, Tanner needs me. Like, in the same beauty that is him in my career is the exact same type of beauty there is when I allow, like, you know, you add some components to his job. Like, I'm like, hey, I love you, but like, I think you would probably get a better result if you were a little more patient, or like if you tried it this way. And so I think in any relationship and in all the marriages that we see, like there's a compliment on both ends. So I am excited for you. And it is like a beautiful missing piece that's going to fit in your puzzle.
Yeah, one day. Well, thanks. Okay, so I have one more question for you before we go. So most women who listen to the show are in their 20s.
Okay.
And so if you could go back and tell your 22-year-old self one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
I mean, gosh. I would say be prayerful about your future so that you can say yes. What we were talking about earlier. Say yes when the opportunities come. Being crippled by fear in your 20s is just such a reality. And I think if we can do our job at being prayerful or thoughtful or meditative on what we're supposed to do in life, whether that is pay for the person's coffee in front of us, like, you know, whether that's open up a fitness studio, whether that's start a podcast, like if we can be prayerful about the moments that are going to lead to those, I believe that fear can be kind of like kicked to the curb. So being prayerful so that then when you say yes, like I would have never fathomed or imagined that one yes to getting certified in a fitness modality and teaching fitness classes in college would have led to me now having 3 studios. I would have never in a million years thought that. But in the same way that look at any other person that's doing incredible things, like they would have never thought that their little yeses of a career they started in their 20s or, you know, a dream they had in their 30s would have led to what they've created now. That would be my answer.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Kenzie, thank you so much for joining us today. Go ahead and shout yourself out. Where can people find you on socials? Where can they find your studios? All that good stuff.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Kenzie Wesp, at Kenzie, WESP, not T. We are not related to the Kardashians. And then we are on Instagram as at TRUEFORM.FITNESS and at theformat.fitness. And then we have our websites and, you know, all the TikToks and everything like that as well.
Love it. Well, thanks so much, Kenzie.
Yes,
I appreciate this
you.
Conversation. So encouraging. Definitely go check out Kenzie. Go check out TRUEFORM. Great workout. Super humbling, but just laugh through it and enjoy it. Thanks, girl.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. So fun to have you.